Nigel Burdett from Drax. You've come out to the European Parliament. Before we get to the reasons why you're out here, first a bit of context. How far are you planning to go with biomass? What's your ambitions?
Well, our ambitions are quite extensive. We're a very large coal-fired power station in the UK with 4,000 megawatts. So it's an extremely large plant, produces a lot of carbon dioxide. Our primary ambition is to reduce our CO2 emissions. To do that, we want to convert the large amount of the plant to biomass.
And when you say that a large amount, is there a percentage that you're aiming for, and how far have you got so far with that?
We're intending to convert 3 units, which is half of our station, to biomass by 2016. We've currently converted 1 unit, and the rest of them will be converted by 2016.
And where do you source your biomass? Does it come from Yorkshire? Does it come from around the world? Where do you get it from?
The majority of our biomass is coming in from imported sources, primarily from America and Canada, but we're looking at a whole range of different places where we can get the material.
And as I mentioned, you've come out to the European Parliament. Where is it that you need more certainty from the EU in order to pursue this course of increasing the amount of biomass that you use in the power station?
We're looking for a couple of things. And biomass is a very important subject to us, but we need to make sure it is sourced responsibly. So we really need to get a set of benchmarks in place which will enable us to be able to tell our stakeholders and governments and other companies that we're taking our material from the right places. So first of all, we need a set of standards which are harmonised across the EU, and second, we need those standards in fairly quickly. So we really need something to take action now.
Just why are those standards so important? Obviously, there's a moral argument for knowing that your wood, for example, isn't coming from the rainforest or whatever. But why is it that you, as a company, need that certainty?
We need the certainty for, as you say, make sure that we can prove to our stakeholders that material is coming from places where we think it should be coming from, and it's being sourced responsibly, and making sure that those standards are harmonised across the EU so that everybody can see that the material is sourced responsibly.
Is there also an economic point of view in this, that you need to cut down on the amount of carbon dioxide that you as a power station produce, and that in that sense is an urgency that you want to pursue this? We
certainly need that certainty to be able to invest in CO2 reduction programs, and sustainability standards are one of the key barriers that we see that will prevent us investing with confidence longer term.
And when it comes to the European Union, what kind of standards do you already have to meet when it comes to, for example, CO2 targets, which is encouraging you to invest in biomass?
There's a lot of regulation from the EU and from the UK government which is driving down CO2 emissions, and our investment in biomass is simply one of the ways in which we're trying to comply with those requirements.
If you can get certainty, what kind of difference will it make to you as a power station? Will it, for example, make a difference economically as well as to the model that you've been talking about?
What we're really trying to do is to improve the whole of the supply chain, so that the supply chain from getting the material in the forests of Canada or America all the way through to burning it in the plant, that supply chain is understood by all our stakeholders. It's a common supply chain so that we can trade material between companies, and it makes the whole supply chain more efficient.
Now, I understand there has for some time been decisions due from the European Commission on this very issue. Is it frustrating that you're still waiting for a position to become clear from the European Union?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're here, is that it has taken now 3 years from their first guidance to come out, and we're now in the process of, well, it's taking a long time, and we really need to get some certainty fairly quickly.
If you don't get that certainty anytime soon, why does that cause you problems?
It's not so much as causing it problems, it's just causing uncertainty. It's causing us difficulty in getting relationships with stakeholders. It's getting difficult relationships with financial institutions that want to loan us money. We need that certainty of the benchmark so that we know exactly what is the good biomass and the material that we can take, and the material which is clearly going to have stakeholder problems.
And just briefly to sum up, really, you're taking part in an event in the European Parliament. There are MEPs, even from Yorkshire, that are supporting you on this. How important is it for you to physically come out here and make that message?
Well, we need to make sure that everybody in the in governments, in member states, and stakeholders, and MEPs and MPs are clearly very important in that, to make sure that there's a common position here. And I don't think there's a great deal of difference amongst the stakeholders on where we're going. It's simply a question of driving it forward a little bit quicker than perhaps we have seen in the past.